River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan, here along with James. James, say hello.
What's up, Niner Nation? It has officially been 0 days since a bad owner story has come out.
Yes, and I'll point that way. I have to remember it's pilot directions on here. But I've changed my name tag appropriately to Concerned 49ers fan because last night, while we were just doing our thing, James, you hit me up and told me I need to look up a story about Jed York, our CEO, and you explained to me what was going on. And it's not good. It's not good. He's been named in a pretty bad lawsuit. I mean, James, do you want the honors to explain to the listeners, or
Well, just so you know, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Apple products. My Apple Watch alerted me with the Twitter notification, and I was right there on the story, able to call you immediately and get to work on this right away. But Jed York, I'm really, really mad at you that you did this, because last night the Phillies threw a no-hitter and I was working on this story, and luckily my phone went off again to let me know there were 3 outs away from a no-hitter, and I got to watch the last 3 outs because I've never seen a Phillies no-hitter. So, but I could have watched the whole game if it wasn't for Jed York. So
you called me right after I bought my new car, and I did still enjoy my nice night in with my fiance, like we usually do on Wednesdays. We watched a really good movie still, but yeah, it was itching at the back of my mind a little bit. But we let it fester. We let it see if any more details came out. I didn't see any extra details other than what we talked about last night. But
no. But just so you know, 49ers fans and NFL fans, if you're watching this, if you haven't read the news or aren't into the news right now, what's going on with the 49ers and their owner, Jed York, basically he's been named in a lawsuit for doing insider trading with a company called Chegg. He was the board of directors on Chegg, which was basically a paid-for service used in the pandemic by students to learn how to study, tutor, and things like that. However, Forbes magazine wrote an expose on Chegg in March of 2021, saying that they made it very, very easy for students to cheat. Very easy for students to cheat. Basically, within seconds to 15 minutes, if you were doing a question on a test, you could easily scan millions of books to find the answer and just dump it in. Some professors reported over 200 students on one exam cheated, and he could prove it by using Chegg. Now, how Jed York was involved in this in 2013, he became part of the board at Chegg, and at the time it went public for $12.50 a share. So they were up and down up until 2020. When the pandemic happened, students are at home, they're doing their tests at home, and so stocks skyrocketed all the way up until you go to February of 2021 to $113.51, all while people are cheating to get their answers on these tests. And that, of course, students were buying into it because Chegg made it so easy, according to Forbes' report, that they could just simply get a tutor 24/7 or scan these textbooks as quickly as they wanted, and they could get the answer and put it in on the test almost instantaneously. So Forbes ran the article on Chegg exposing what they were doing, which was, like I said, that was in March of 2021. Jed York sold his shares in 2020. He probably heard the workings of a news story because March is still early in the year. So in 2020, he probably heard the markings of the failure of what was going on and sold about 10,000 shares with a profit of $1.4 million. Yeah. And Forbes had interviewed 52 students for their report. And besides the 6 that Chegg gave to them, all but 4 admitted that they used it for cheating. So this was a rampant problem that was going on that Jed York probably knew about. And here's the thing:
he was a pretty prominent person in their board. He knew this was going on, allegedly. I'm editorializing and saying I bet he knew.
Yes. And what we've always questioned, like Mike Florio questioned, especially with the previous story with the Texans owner, when did the NFL know? How long did they know? When did they find out about this? Well, if you follow the dots and pay attention to ESPN, if Jed York sells his shares in 2020, the Forbes expose comes out in March of 2021. If you follow ESPN, June of 2021, Snyder introduced the blackmail PowerPoint. So it's reasonable to say that Jed York was most likely on that blackmail PowerPoint in June of 2021, which is 2 years ago now. So I mean, Dan, do you really think Snyder just overlooked, what Jed York was doing and didn't put it on the PowerPoint? Because I have a funny feeling that was definitely on the PowerPoint, and the fact that it's out now, yeah, I mean, there's no way that it wasn't.
Snyder is not dumb. Snyder's not a dumb person. You don't get to a position that he's in being a dumb person. So I think it is incredibly reasonable to believe that of the 29 or 30 slides outside of Snyder's own slide, he would obviously not make. I'm willing to bet a lot of money that Jed York's slide was this. There's no way that nobody knew about this. There's no way. There's just no way.
Dan Snyder found a picture from 1964 of Jerry Jones blocking African American students from entering the school. That's some digging on Jerry Jones. So there's no reason to believe that he didn't do his due diligence on Jed York.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no way. I was looking forward to Monday where we could talk about Ray's injury, seeing Jimmy G do his first press conference, facing his old team, whatever else came out. We're taping this on the 10th. I wanted to talk about all this other stuff that was going on Monday, but then no, I'm celebrating getting my new car, and then no, Jed York, I'm not mad that the story dropped. I'm glad the story came out, but I'm mad that we have to spend extra time talking about something bad instead of something fun, like our new banners, like our new background, celebrating again. Thank you, Sam, for letting us on Shady Sports Network and Wager Wire. Go make bets responsibly. But no, we have to talk about this. And now I can't live in denial that my owner is one of the good owners in the league. I just need a minute to just accept that. And then I do have some thoughts about what I think is going to actually happen going forward, but deep breath.
And just so you know, everybody, the story that came out yesterday reporting this was from the San Francisco Chronicle. They did the due diligence to tie Jed York into this. So they did the due diligence yesterday by reporting it. Of course, I follow Mike Florio at profootballdoc.com. He tweeted about it. I immediately saw it, called Dan, and then started digging into the San Francisco Chronicle's article, which also led me to the Forbes article about the Chegg cheating scandal. So those are all our sources, plus ESPN. Thank you for the blackmail PowerPoint source as well. So yeah, I mean, Draft Guru Steve said it, right? He said it in the group text, and he's probably said it on the show, that no owner is clean.
No. And now, I mean, I would take solace in the fact that, like, I live in a state with a overtly crazy owner. He doesn't really hide he's crazy. He doesn't think he's crazy, but he's not helping his own case. I could at least pretend that, and just technically, we need to clear this up too, because I can hear angry emails. Yes, I am aware that Jed York is technically just the CEO, technically in title, and the DeBartolo York Foundation, or specifically like his parents. Yes, please don't email us or tweet us about those semantics. I'm going to use a production term. Jed York is the showrunner. He acts as the owner, even though he's only technically the CEO in title. So get that out of the way. Please don't email us about that. We know those semantics. But yeah, no, this just bummed me the hell out, dude. Like,
I bet, man.
This is just sad. Like,
man.
But we need to think about it this way now. Like, these are allegations. They are charges, and this is just a civil suit, right? This isn't like a criminal suit. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe it's civil right now.
Okay.
I don't think there's going to be any jail time.
Right. So with just some paycheck penalties, so to say, being the only thing on the table, I mean, really, I can't. The league will get involved. I'm sure the league will get involved. I'm not sure entirely about how the actions detrimental to the league or the personal conduct policy works with executive level employees. I'm sure he's going to face some sort of fine, possible suspension. I'm not going to personally guess he's going to get a whole like year away from the team. If he is going to be away from the team, I think it's just going to be a little bit. I think he's going to get a 6-figure fine. I can't see it being a 7-figure fine, because I mean, however the way they spin it with an executive level employee in the personal conduct policy, that I'm not an expert at, and I'm not going to speculate that as much. Like, I'm just kind of guessing. My gut reaction though is that I think he's still going to be CEO. I don't, unless some massive turn happens that I'm not expecting. I think he's still going to be CEO. I think he's still going to be acting owner. I'm using finger quotes. I think he's still going to be more or less the acting owner. I just don't know. I don't think there's going to, I'm not personally anticipating any radical punishment coming out of this. And really, it's just, how much do you care that he manipulated the game to make profit off of kids that wanted to cheat the education system, and used a company just fully like, yeah, this is what we do. We want to shortchange your education, allegedly.
Yeah.
Trying to protect us, allegedly. I just, at face value, the way this all read, it's just embarrassing, and it has changed. I don't know. I know I'm probably never going to meet him. I know, like, he could probably care less about this show. John listens to this show, as you noted,
John listens, and John may not like his boss, so we don't know.
But I don't, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be a cynic. I'm listening to my gut and just kind of thinking, maybe Steve and I share the same thoughts on this. He's not here with us right now, but I don't know. I really, just because it's not as egregious, like, it's not directly affecting other owners' playbook. He doesn't have the rap sheet of pissing off all the other owners and all the fans. Like, he doesn't have that rep behind him. And this was technically like a separate private, like the NFL itself is a private thing, but nothing he did directly, again, depending on how you want to spin his reputation, as affecting the league. So I don't really see what kind of punishment he's gonna get that's gonna be worth anything.
Yeah, it's checks. Checks are gonna get written. The civil lawsuit, checks gonna get written before Jed York testifies, and the NFL will find him, I don't know, maybe $1 million. Who knows? But is that real accountability? Is that, we just talked about the Texans owner, like the NFL has proven that it will keep things under wrap until something blows up and people
Yeah,
find out about it.
this is 2 accountability episodes we've had to do in a week.
In a week.
I'm not happy about this.
Yes, me
I'm always
too.
I'm always happy to talk to you, but I don't like that. Again, this is not a fun story to talk about. I don't like talking about this. This is embarrassing as personally or as emotionally invested, I'll say, as I am with this team. This is embarrassing. This is just, and we're right before the season, and I don't, maybe it's being hyperbolic that it's going to affect the locker room. I don't think Kyle is going to let this affect the locker room. I feel like he's a coach that can weather this. And luckily it's not an assault. Like, this is just greedy money management, if I want to oversimplify this. So I'm not letting myself believe it's going to affect the locker room, but no, all the players, of course, are going to be aware of this. Everybody's got social media. Like, there's no way the locker room, some people in the locker room are not talking about this right now. There's no way. This is in their minds.
Yeah.
So,
and right before the season, right before preseason, when
we play the Raiders in 5 days.
Yeah.
We play the Raiders on Sunday. Like, of course this is on everybody's mind. Like, they're not going to talk about it. Kyle's probably going to say, yeah, I'm aware of this story, but I have no comment. It's not my place to comment. That's probably all he's going to say. Like, so I don't know. I hope and assume it's not going to affect the locker room, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm glad we're in agreement that it's sad that he's probably not going to get that big a punishment. It's just embarrassing we have to talk about it.
Yeah, he's not going to get a big punishment. And so, I mean, we probably think the Texans owner's going to get a punishment if he's found guilty. I'm sure of that. But
is that a civil suit too, or does
that's criminal?
Oh,
the Texans owner is criminal. That's
okay.
Criminal charges. Those are, he could go to jail for decades for what he's charged with. Jed York is going to write a check.
The burden of proof is a big key when it comes to trials of that nature. But if they fulfill the burden of proof, or however the right way you're supposed to say that, then he's going to jail or prison for a while. Yeah. Prison is not on the table for what Jed York did. Like,
no. But I mean, what we're trying to do here at the show, and what I spent all day on Twitter doing, and I want to first, another thank you to the Twitter family that has been created on there with Niner Nuts. How you guys have come to support us with, reaching out and saying, hey, can you just retweet this tweet? Can you follow our channel? Can you follow our network channel? We really do appreciate the community that we have built with you. And just remember, if you need anything from us, from that community, just direct message us on Twitter. I read the Twitter messages, and we will do whatever we can to help you. But really, what's going on right now, we're trying to start a movement. We're trying to raise money for charity, and we have started the hashtag owner accountability. And just get it out there, tweet. And what you can do is to help raise money for crisis centers in Kentucky. You can buy our merch. You can go to, as you can see, bonfire.com and purchase our merch. You can get this shirt right here, a Niner Nuts shirt, or you can get Dan's shirt, what he's got on there. All the owners in a standoff with guns against each other. We think you should have cool merch when you donate to charity. So you get a cool t-shirt, you donate to a good cause. All the proceeds will go to the crisis center in Kentucky. I'm still working on the exact crisis center that it's going to go to. So, but don't worry. Like we did before, we raised money for Courtney's house. All the funds went there. Go to bonfire.com. Please go to bonfire.com. Do not go anywhere else to buy our apparel. Go to bonfire.com, because that will donate to charity.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on top of that. It is not for us. It's for everybody else. We didn't really touch too much on it during this off season because life was kind of hectic for us, but we always try to highlight things that are bigger than football. That's why owner accountability. That's why we've tried in the past to interview various charities before. Again, we just couldn't quite get to any this off season, but that's not stopping us from making this hashtag trend this off season. And yeah, if an owner needs to get called out, we're gonna call him out, just like we're doing in this emergency episode, because there needs to be accountability.
Definitely. And the reason why we want the accountability is because we all know, everybody follows the news enough to know that if this were to happen to a player, and the NFL found this out about a player, the very next day we hear about it. If not the hour that they hear about it, when we hear about it.
Oh, suspended or released or waived immediately, unless your name's Alvin Kamara.
True. But once again, like I said, like, we're able to connect the dots. We're able to connect the dots and figure out that the NFL most likely knew about this in June of 2021. And we're not hearing about it until August of 2023. So, yeah. So I guess this is the way the NFL wants to run things. Is like, we're not going to say anything and cross our fingers nobody reports about it. So
it's I bear with me for making this sound way cruder than I mean to. It's a don't ask, don't tell. If no one's going to bring it up, we're not going to say anything. That's not morally okay, guys.
That is not.
Neither was don't ask, don't tell for real. But
yeah,
but yeah, no, this is not how. There's a fine line between information that is for the public good and not. And this was for the public good. This should have been.
Yes, this was a public concern, and the NFL sat on it apparently for 2 years. Is what it seems like. So yeah, I mean, this is the second time in a week. Like, I don't know. I thought Dan Snyder would go away peacefully, but I guess he's not. He's throwing his guns in the air and saying, "I'm not going down. I may have got my check, but I'm still firing, baby." You know,
dude. I texted my Patriots friend about this. I used I used the joke name Snyder Damas. Like, is it like, I think it is fair to wonder, like, now that this has happened twice. I mean, the Texans one was a minority stakes owner. It wasn't Bob McNair, but
a minority stakes owner that in May, so he most likely wasn't on the blackmail PowerPoint.
Right, just a minority. I mean, now we can ask the question if we want to put on a conspiracy hat. I mean, I'm not one for doing that, but I mean, we have a little bit more smoke today than we had on Monday. So, yeah. I mean, if we have another one, I mean, that means the egg is just kind of on our face. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just, we know these things are going on. Because, ESPN reported about it, said that there is a blackmail PowerPoint. The public just hasn't seen it. So, I guess the NFL, like you said, Dan, nobody's going to ask us. We're not going to tell anybody. And we're just going to let it go. And maybe someday we'll have to write a check or put somebody on, some sort of list for the stay out of the league for like a year or something like that. But
do you remember when you learned what lying by omission meant? I'm pretty sure I learned about lying by omission by the time I was 10.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is. This is lying by omission.
Yes. And I mean, the NFL has proven now that, it's not going to report on its owners. Definitely not, because, they all got dirt. They're all got dirt.
I mean, if you want to be cynical, I mean, don't snitch on your friends. I mean, they at least have a code.
I guess it is. Yeah. And
I'm not trying to excuse them, but I mean, at least you're not a snitch, I guess.
Yes. And Dan Snyder is still putting stuff out there, and I think
from his yacht in France,
or
England? Is it England or France? I don't remember.
He's in France, I believe. He wants to probably be a part of England, a soccer team in England. That's probably what he really wants to do now that he's got his, $5.9 billion.
Speaking of soccer, Jed oversaw buying Leeds, that soccer club.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The 49ers just bought Leeds. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and Jed oversaw all that because it was, I can't remember the exact naming of it. It was like the San Francisco 49ers business something. We own them. That's the layman's term. We Jed York own Leeds now. Like,
yeah, but I mean, this it's probably not gonna affect his Leeds dealership because this happened in the States, and
oh, why would no, they don't care. It happened on American soil. They're probably not gonna. I mean, I'm not an international law expert, but I mean, he didn't technically, like, unless he stashed some money in an account in London. Like, I feel like they have no jurisdiction to care.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. We are probably naive in thinking that maybe one day this might all change and the NFL will self-report on its owners, but I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. And so as long as it continues to happen this way, we'll be here and we'll be doing our part to, raise money for charities, and, just report the news, on these owners and not, we love to talk football. We really, really do. We love to talk football. We love to talk about the 49ers. I love to talk about the Eagles. And really, if we had a choice, that's all we want to talk about. We want to tell you about, where you can go to bet. We want to tell you about where you can go buy stuff and save money. We want to do that in the show and speak it out loud, not for just you, us, but for our sponsors. They've trusted us. But we, we'll put it on the banner, but, right now news is news. And, yeah, we want to do something in the community. We want to, give back to the community because, there are some things in life that are bigger than football. And some of these things are it. Crisis centers are really a place that needs more funding, and yeah, any help that we can do and any support we get from the community to do that, we thank you. And, we're going to continue doing what we do. We're here for you guys. We're here for the little guy, because, this is our hobby. This is just our hobby. We're not, looking to make $12-13 million a year reporting the news. We just want to talk football with two buddies. But, we'd like to have fun doing it. We'd like to talk about fun things. I mean, if you listen to our podcast throughout the whole year, like, we've talked football and we love talking football. We love talking the Niners. I, of course, love talking about the Eagles. And yeah, it's just sad that like 2 out of our first 4 episodes on Shady Sports Network have to be this.
Yeah, you've basically said it all. I don't know. I would just be repeating you. It's embarrassing we had to do an extra episode over something bad. Like the last time we did this, it was for Christian McCaffrey. I wish this was for some good news like Christian McCaffrey.
And if it does happen during the season, if during the trade deadline they make a big trade, we will be here doing an emergency podcast. If they do that, we will be here for that.
Exactly. I agree. Like we're on the same wavelength. Like this is just, yeah, I don't know. Let's end this episode with putting good faith out there, hoping that we don't have to keep doing episodes like this anymore where it's sad and we don't get to just celebrate football. We have to talk about a blemish on the league and a blemish on a specific team. And yeah, just focus on football because, I mean, sure, there's the ugly side of the NFL that likes to come out every now and then that we have to remember, oh yeah, it's there. But I mean, there's so much good that comes out of football, that comes out of the football season and what the teams mean to the communities and what they do give back to the communities for the most part. And that's what we want to do with this show is to be a part of that celebration. That's what I hope we get to do for the rest of this season, like after this episode.
Well, yeah. And just so you know, if you're new to us and you want to know why I'm an Eagles fan, on a Niners podcast and a year and a half ago, we started this podcast out of a friendship. And that friendship is this. I'm an Eagles fan. In 2017, I watched the Eagles climb to the top of the mountain and win the Super Bowl. And it was one of the most victorious things in my life and one of the most emotional days of my life. And I was so happy. I was so overjoyed that finally, after 30 years of rooting for my team, I got to watch them win a Super Bowl. And it was one of the greatest days of my life.
And you can brag that it's one of the best Super Bowls that has ever been played.
Happened. Exactly.
Like, objectively, that's how I feel about Super Bowl 52. It was an incredible Super Bowl.
Yes, it was just such a great season. It was such a fun ride. And I wanted to start something like that, but I have my friend Dan, and I'm like, Dan, let's do 49ers, because Dan was 2 years old when Steve Young threw 6 touchdowns against the San Diego Chargers. 2. What you got there, Dan? Yeah, see?
I was going to hold my runner-up trophies for losing 2 Super Bowls.
Yes.
When we lost in 2012, Super Bowl 47, when we lost to the Ravens, and then just 3 years ago, 4 year, I can't count, the 2019 Super Bowl. I even got a pin on it when we lost the 2019 Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I've had 2 heartbreaks in less than 10 years, and I don't like the feeling.
Exactly. And we all know, as fans who have been there before, who have watched this happen, unless you're a 20-year-old Patriots fan, you don't know what that's like. But we've all been there. If you're 30 and, Dan is a little over 30, I'm 44, like, we've suffered, we've done a lot. And I want that joy for my friend. What I had in 2017, I want it for my best friend, Dan. Oh, I don't even know this side.
Yeah,
right?
pilot directions.
I want it for my friend Dan right here, because I love him and I want to be a part of this journey with him. I want to be a part of this journey for the Niners faithful, and I'm rooting for the Niners except against the Eagles. And basically,
we'll settle that in week 13.
Yes, we will. And so, but yeah, that's why we started the shows, because we want to watch the 49ers win a Super Bowl. I want to be there with my best friend as he's celebrating.
Yeah. And hopefully for the rest of the season, that is what we can focus on. Like, just analyzing the team, seeing how we're doing, and just hoist that Lombardi at the end. Like, hopefully this losing streak finally comes to an end. I was just telling my grandmother yesterday that there's no reason. I don't care what other people say. I don't think there's any reason that a team with as much top to bottom talent as we have, with Bosa, Williams, McCaffrey, Debo, Warner, Hufanga, I mean, the list goes on, how many people that are just absolute studs on this team. We can't do it. There's no reason we don't have a legitimate shot to make it to a fifth conference or a fourth conference championship in 5 years and maybe actually win the damn thing. Like,
yeah,
there's no reason, but
there's definitely no reason that you guys can't do that this year. But
yeah,
but I mean, we'll talk about that hopefully on when we come to record next on Monday. We won't have some owner story to talk about anymore, because we love talking football and we love having fun talking football and joking around with each other. And but I mean, we'll get there, guys. And so we don't do this all the time. We don't, it just so happened that this happened to be a week where two owners got in trouble. And
yeah. And just to clarify, I may figure out a way to more concretely display this, but yeah, we say Monday. That's just when we tape. Episodes will be dropping, unless there are emergencies like this. We're going to be dropping episodes Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So that's hopefully going to be the schedule going forward. I feel comfortable enough because we've done it like this a couple times now. But yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday's going to be the Jimmy B betting episode specifically. The other 2 stories we cover are Tuesday and Wednesday. But yeah, no, this one dropped by the time y'all are watching this less than 6 hours after recording. So
Yeah.
this will happen every now and then, but yeah, just to put that out there. But no, just we won't take up any more of your time, guys. This is out of our normal routine. We'll let you go back to your lives. We just I needed to vent, and hopefully we don't have something serious to talk about for quite a while. Hopefully we're coming back Tuesday, only just celebrating all the good things that came out of us playing the Raiders on Sunday.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll check you later. Outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
Beat the Raiders. See you next week.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.